सो हे गाइस, अर्थम दिस साइड। आज हम सॉल्व करने वाले हैं आज का लीड कोड प्रॉब्लम विच इज प्रॉब्लम नंबर 1457 सूडो पैलिंड्रोमिक पाथ्स इन अ बाइनरी ट्री। सो इस क्वेश्चन में गिवन है आपको एक बाइनरी ट्री, हर नोड की वैल्यू 1 to 9 है और आपको उसमें टोटल नंबर ऑफ सूडो पैलिंड्रोमिक पाथ्स फाइंड करने हैं। तो सबसे पहले इस क्वेश्चन को समझते हैं। सो सूडो पैलिंड्रोमिक पाथ से पहले आपको पता होना चाहिए कि इस क्वेश्चन में पाथ्स क्या है। इस क्वेश्चन में गिवन है कि पाथ्स रूट नोड से लीफ नोड तक है, which means 2 3 3 can be a path, 2 3 1 can also be a path, and 2 1 1 can also be another path. So there are three possible paths in this particular example. Now you have to find whether the path is pseudo palindromic or not, which means कि उस पाथ में जितनी भी नोड्स लाई कर रही हैं उनको परम्यूटेट करके क्या मैं एक भी पैलिंड्रोम बना पा रहा हूं। अगर मैं ऐसा कर पा रहा हूं, एक भी पैलिंड्रोम बना पा रहा हूं, तो वो पर्टिकुलर पाथ सूडो पैलिंड्रोमिक होगा। फॉर एग्जांपल, path 233 can be permutated to 323 and can be formed a palindrome. So 233 को हम permutate करके 323 लिख सकते हैं, which is a palindrome. So it is a pseudo palindromic path. Now look at this path 231. Path number 231 cannot be formed, cannot be transformed or permutated into any palindrome anyhow. So it is not a pseudo palindromic path. Now path number 3, which is 211, it can be permutated to 121, which is a palindrome. So this path is also a pseudo palindromic path. So इस particular question में आपके पास two pseudo palindromic path आएंगे, 233 and 211. So output of this question is 2. So for finding pseudo palindrome, we will just use the approach of odd parity. Now approach of odd parity means that there can only be one element which occurs odd number of time. किसी भी पाथ को पैलिंड्रोम होने के लिए उसमें ये कंडीशन जरूरी है कि उसमें सिर्फ एक ही ऐसा मैक्सिमम एक ही ऐसा एलिमेंट हो सकता है जो ऑड नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स आए, बाकी सब एलिमेंट को इवन नंबर ऑफ टाइम ऑकर करना ही पड़ेगा। फॉर एग्जांपल, लुक एट दिस एग्जांपल. In this example, 1 occurs odd number of times and 3 occurs odd number of time and 2 occurs odd number of times. So it cannot form a palindrome in any permutation. If I change this example by, let's change this example. Now in this changed example, only 1 occurs odd number of time. Rest of the element, which is 2 and 3, occurs even number of times. So it can be formed. It can be formed. A permutation of it can be formed in form of a palindrome. So इसको palindrome बनाया जा सकता है. So this is the condition of odd parity, that only one element, at max one element, can be there which occurs odd number of time. So this is the approach we will be using for checking the path, whether the path is pseudo palindromic or not. So let's jump to coding part. So to solve this question, first we will have to find the path, and then after finding the path we will have to check whether the path is pseudo palindromic or not. So for finding the path, we will have to navigate from the root node to the leaf node and somehow store it. Now, as we only have to check whether the path is pseudo palindromic or not, and in checking pseudo palindromic or not, we just want to know the frequency of every node which is coming in the path. So we will use unordered map to store the frequency of every element that comes in the map. For example, I have used pre-order traversal technique. You can use any traversal technique you like. So in pre-order traversal technique, first we access the root, then we go to its left subtree, then we explore its right subtree, right? So first, while accessing the root, I'll put the root in the unordered map, then go to its left, then repeat the same until I reach the leaf node, then repeat the same until I reach the leaf node. Now, as I have found the leaf node, it means I have found a particular path from the root to the leaf node. Now I will pass this unordered map which stores a single path in another function to check whether this can form a pseudo palindrome or not. Let's understand the code part. This is the function already given in the question. I have just made an unordered map to actually store the frequency of every node I am accessing in a path. And I have made a count variable as 0, and I have passed all root, map, and by reference count in the traversal function. Traversal function में pass करने के बाद I have just used pre-order traversal technique, which means मैं root पहले access करूँगा, फिर मैं left जाऊँगा, फिर मैं right जाऊँगा. This is my root access. यहाँ पर मैं root access कर रहा हूँ, फिर मैं root के left subtree में access कर रहा हूँ पूरा, फिर उसको right subtree में access कर रहा हूँ. So let's understand how this is actually working. I am at root, suppose मैं 2 पे हूँ और मैंने चेक किया क्या 2 नल है. अगर 2 नल है तो रिटर्न कर दो, अगर 2 नल नहीं है तो उसे अनऑर्डर्ड मैप में पुश किया है. This is 2 pushed in unordered map. Then I am checking whether this 2 is leaf node or not. If this is leaf node, it will mean that I have found a path. And after finding the path, I will pass my unordered map in is palindrome function, which will further check whether this path which I have found is palindromic or not, is pseudo-palindromic or not. If it is pseudo-palindromic, if it is returning true, I will increase the count of the pointer. If it is not leaf node, then I will traverse left of the tree. As 2 is not leaf node, I will traverse left of the 2 and insert 3 in unordered map. As it is also not leaf node, I will go left of 3 and update my unordered map accordingly. Then it is leaf node. As it is leaf node, as it is leaf node, I will pass the unordered map which actually stores this whole path in it to my is palindrome function. Now what is palindrome function will do, it will check whether there can be any permutation which can be palindromic in this path or not. So सबसे पहले मैंने मैप को आइट्रेट किया है. मैप को आइट्रेट करते हुए मेरे पास वैल्यूज थी मैप में 3 2 2 1. These were the values in my map. This is the keys and these are the values of the keys, which means 2 is occurring one time and 3 is occurring twice. So I have iterated the map and मैं check कर रहा हूँ कि कितने elements ऐसे हैं जो odd number of times आ रहे हैं, and I am just increasing the counter of odd count. अगर एक से ज़्यादा element odd number of times आ रहे हैं, then I am returning false, which means that कि palindrome नहीं बन सकता किसी भी permutation से इस path की. Otherwise I have returned true. So this is my palindrome function. Then what I have done, I have traversed to its left. After calling this function, I have returned to its traversed to its left. As it is null, I have returned. Then I have traversed to its right. As it is also null, I have returned. And I have deleted the value 3. This value 3, reduced the value 3 from this unordered map right here. So to delete the value, अब इसको delete करने के बाद क्या होगा, my path would be only this 2 3. So I can iterate from another path from this. Understand this. पहले मेरे path की वैल्यू थी 2 3 3. जब मैंने इसको पूरे पाथ को इस palindrome फंक्शन में पास कर दिया, उस चेक कर लिया, उसके बाद मैंने इस 3 को डिलीट कर दिया. इस 3 को डिलीट करने मैप से डिलीट करने के बाद मेरे पास मैप में वैल्यू रह गई 2 3 की. नाउ अब मैं इसके राइट में जाऊंगा, इस वाले 3 के राइट में जाऊंगा एंड आई विल इंसर्ट दिस 1 इन माय मैप. सो आई विल होल्ड अ न्यू path in my unordered map, and then I will pass this path also in is palindrome function. This is what's happening here. Let's understand once again. Now I have reduced the value of 3 in from my map. Then I have returned from this to this parent. Then I have as I have accessed its left, now I will be accessing its right. अब मैं 1 को यहाँ पर unordered map में insert कर दूंगा. Now 1 को insert करने के बाद मेरे पास new path आ जाएगा, which is 2 3 1. As this is also leaf node, 1 is also leaf node, so this if will return true, and this path, this new path 2 3 1 will be sent to its palindrome function, and this will also be checked for palindrome. And accordingly, when I have also traversed 1, I will go back from 1 to 3. As I have traversed left hand side of 3 and right hand side of 3, I will traverse back to root 2, and then as I have already traversed its left hand side, I will traverse its right hand side and insert this one again. Now my map will be holding 2 and 1 only. Now I will go to its left, which is null, I will return back. I will go to its right, which is 1, and I'll insert this one also in the unordered map. As this is leaf node, this new path which is stored in my map will also be passed in its palindrome function. after accessing this node, which is the leaf node, I will return back, and while returning back, I will reduce its value. I will delete the value 1 from my map, and this is my deletion part. So this is how this is working. So after explaining the code, let's understand what the time complexity of this approach would be. So let's understand the time complexity of our approach. In my approach, I am traversing every node once. So for traversing, my function would take big O of n time complexity. And while I am at leaf node, which means I have found a path, I am calling this function, which takes time complexity of big O of m, where m is the number of nodes in that path. So in worst case scenario, which means in case of skew symmetric tree, I am traversing every node once, but I'm calling I am at leaf node only once, which means I'm calling this function only once. So in a worst case scenario, I will be traversing our traversal time complexity will dominate. This is palindrome functions time complexity. So our overall time complexity would be big O of n. So this was our solution. So this was our approach for this question. Do mention if you have any queries, any questions related to my approach, any suggestions if you want to make to optimize this approach, or any other approach you have in your mind. Do mention it in my comments section. I will be putting this in PDF form, this explanation in PDF form, so as to refer again later in future. आप देख सकते हैं, अगर आपको कोई भी प्रॉब्लम है तो आप पूरी वीडियो ना देख के सिर्फ अप्रोच से भी समझ सकते हैं. आई हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड मच इन दिस अप्रोच. I will be putting this in the description in PDF format, and I'll also be pasting the problem link. As soon as you see the video or you go through the approach, do try the problem, because problem खुद से solve नहीं होंगे, आपको solve करनी ही पड़ेंगी to improve. So this was all for today, and पढ़ते रहिए, कोड करते रहिए, कोड करना मत छोड़िए. All the best. Bye.